allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we got an agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I still move.
I'll second it.
Any additions or corrections? Seeing none, all in favor of the agenda? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Motion to approve the minutes from last meeting.
I'd motion for the approval of the minutes from July 21.
Is there a second?
I second.
Any additions or corrections to the minute? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. We'll move on to the treasurer's report. Kevin, you ready?
Yep, July 1st, we had 291,166. We got collections in of 51,657 in there. Notice the interest income there. We got one of the CDs came due, so we got about close to $7,000 in interest and stuff there, and pushed it off here another 6-8 months here, so I'm have to shift anything to developments in there. And then so we spent 181,176. The big one there was dust chemical in there. In there we had some contracted services for that 267th, to finalize that up. So that was at 32,000. But if you look at the other bills, all of them are really small. Payroll of 5,000, and just everything else is pretty routine. So at the end of the month, we ended up having 154,641 in the checking and debit account in there, and so everything is looking pretty good there and stuff in there. We're kind of low what we did on the annual meeting for reserve, but if you also go back up and look, percentages wise and stuff, we're doing pretty good on everything, what we planned on for the budget and stuff in there. So everything is looking pretty close to 50%, except for dust control. We're probably done unless we do another round, but everything else looks pretty good. Unless there's any questions on any of the stuff.
Okay, I'll ask for a motion to approve the treasurer's report.
I'm make motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, motion and a second. Any additions or corrections to the treasurer's report? Seeing none, all in favor of treasurer's report? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Move on to old business, 267 street project closeout.
It should be done now. They checked. I just checked. I talked to Tom today and stuff in there, and it was pending that through the bank. So I should be able to get with Jacob here and send him it. So we should get the county and then figure out if they're gonna give us any more or what we have to do to finalize it. But he cashed it. When I looked at it yesterday, it was pending, so today it should, or by tomorrow it should be, so I should be able to send it to them.
Okay. Anything else on 267 street?
You don't have none.
I don't know. I was there when he talked to Tom today.
Yeah.
Okay. Second item, Kent Circle. Rich has been having that up.
Yeah, the DGR been the engineers on that, so,
Want me to provide a update?
yeah.
All right, we put it out to bid after the last meeting. Open bids this morning or this afternoon, early this afternoon. Received 6 bids and we bid it with 2 options. Option 1, which was the full project, as was previously discussed, and then option 2 was a portion of the project that would just do the grading west of the Dean's access culvert, should that portion of the project be taken out. Received 6 bids for both of the options, and the low bid was about 50% lower than what we had anticipated for the entire project. We had estimated about 58,000 and it came in right at about 29,500. So it was good there. And then on option 2, should you elect to just do the grading work, the low bid there was 19,266.39. So really good bids for that work. 2 different contractors were the low bidders. So option 1 was a contractor by the name of Brock Contracting. And the option 2 low bidder was Dirt Specialties, Tom McNamara. I provided you guys with a copy of that bid tabulation of all 6 bids, but essentially speaking, bids ranged from 29,000 to 60,000 and 19,000 to 40,000. So low bid was about half price of the high bids and our estimates. So our recommendation to you is to strongly consider the option 1, which is the full project, pending your ability to negotiate with the property owners to pay for their portion of the culvert replacement. The cost of the culvert replacement as it was bid is $7,400, and there was specific bid items that were in there for that, which includes the removal, replacement, some end sections on it that will allow for the better slopes for those where all that erosion is occurring, as well as replacement of the gravel over the top of it. So Kevin and I, after the bid, did talk to Wendy Dean, and she's here and can provide some thoughts. She originally was not wanting to move forward with that, but a subsequent conversation, Wendy, I'll let you talk.
Yeah, we decided to go ahead with it.
You are,
Yeah, to go ahead and do it, and if we can figure out like, is there a payment plan, cause I can't just like, I would need at least a week or 2 to get the money.
a week or 2?
So, I mean,
Yeah,
so payment for the project wouldn't be due until when? If it's,
Well, yeah, if you're paying
If
the
you-
contractor, after they complete the work, it would probably be October-ish.
well, even if they came to us in September, it'd be a partial payment,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's fine.
So the end payment, assuming everything gets done, would probably be October meeting, the second week of October, or the second week of November.
I would agree. Yeah.
Okay, so with that in mind, Wendy, because was it 7,400?
Mhm.
So with that in mind, if payment wasn't due until second Tuesday in November, would you be able to do the 7,400?
Yeah.
Okay. So then that,
Option 1 is obvious.
yeah, and Brock's got that
Correct.
a little
Yep.
bit.
Yep. Younger contractor Jeremy Brockhouse is his name. His family's been in the construction business for a long time, and he did one of those bridge replacement projects for the county last year. Reputable, so he's done some of this type of work and familiar with it.
so Wendy, what I'll do is I'll just send you an email confirming that you will pay the $7,400 to the township.
Yeah.
And then they'll remit it, so it will be due November 10th? Okay, so then if that's what you wanna do, I'd make a motion to accept the option 1 from Brock Contracting with the agreement that the Deans pay $7,400 by November 10th.
Okay, is that a motion?
Yes.
Rick, you
I
make
make the
it?
motion, yeah.
Rich made the motion,
I'll second it.
second to proceed with the Kim Circle project. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Motion carried.
I can get you to sign that. That's the notice of award, and we'll send out documents to them after that. So,
Right here.
yep.
And that was with the contractor that's gonna supply the culvert.
It is. Yep.
Okay.
And then is there a begin date and an end date on the contract, or is
There
there on the bid, or?
Is, but I don't recall what it is. I mean, I think we gave them into November to do it. but, it's about 2 weeks worth of work, so I'll follow up tomorrow and get information from them.
Can I get a heads up so I can move my car and then move my Halloween? stuff?
Absolutely, yep, we'll,
You guys have each other's contact information, right?
I got nothing.
You
Okay,
what?
moving
I had
on to item 3, right,
contact info.
right away
I got
clearance.
mine.
Do you have his contact
I have
information?
your phone number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want me to save it?
Well, I can.
That way he
yeah.
can
Yeah.
tell you when it's.
I'll give you a call with my contact information, so, well, I'll be in touch with you.
Okay.
Make sure that you're aware.
Okay.
Won't want you to get stuck
Cause we
in
took that tree down that was out that front, that storm that we had just this past that took all the trees down, took that tree down, so we had to have it taken down. So that tree's not there no more.
Yeah.
But my Halloween is now there.
Okay, yeah. We'll work with you, yeah.
Okay, we're, old business, item 3, right away clearance.
So I think what you're referring to there is the letters that got sent out to property owners about clearing items in their right of way, which is different than just the general October right of way clearance for shrubs and branches and stuff. So I did send out letters to property owners requesting that they clear the right of ways from the rocks or trees, landscaping that's been placed in the right of way. I received a number of telephone calls asking questions, and I encouraged them to, the property owners, if they had questions or wanted to discuss, to come tonight. So I don't know if anybody's here tonight to visit, so.
Just
the
come on.
Yeah, so
You wanna
if you guys
speak?
do anything else, otherwise, if
Sure.
you're wanting to speak on that,
Just
if you
come on
can
up.
Okay,
sit in the front row so they can hear you.
sure.
And then let us know your name and your address, please.
Sure. I even wrote something else that way to stay on track. I'm Ryan Hanson. I live at 9401 East 41st Street. So we received a letter on, I think it was August 2nd, saying, hey, remove your landscape. We just built a new house, and the driveway was also redone. We installed a new culvert at our own expense. The ditch is pretty deep, and so we installed some retaining walls because we had a lot of erosion previously. So all of it is brand new, probably about a year and a half old. So I was kind of surprised to see this letter. We had Oak Ridge Nursery do the installation, which is a pretty reputable landscaper, so I figured that we were checking all the boxes. And so really, like, some of my questions that I have is, what is the standard for what is the policy? Because the letter we received was very generic. It just said, remove it by September 1st, otherwise we'll do it at your expense. So I was a little bit taken aback by that, to be honest with you. So what is the standard? Is there a township standard policy? Is there a county? Is it state? Do you guys know that offhand?
So I would tell you that there's no written policy. We don't have ordinances and bylaws.
Okay.
That there is a general statute that talks about clearance of right of ways, and that talks about, and they set a date for clearance of right of ways of trees and brushes. But in terms of, the law generally provides right of ways are public, and supervisors are charged with, under the statutes, the responsibility to maintain roads, which includes the right of ways. So supervisors have the ability to make determinations if somebody has placed something in a right of way, to have the property owner get that removed at the property owner's expense. There are laws that if they don't do it, then the township can do it and recoup that cost from the property owner.
I guess I'm just kind of curious, like, what about our, like I said, the work, the landscaping that we did isn't compliant, or is it a nuisance? It's causing this problem?
So it doesn't matter if it's a nuisance or causing a problem. If something is in the right of way, the law provides that if the township supervisors want it out of the right of way, regardless of whether it's causing a problem or a nuisance, you can't obstruct, you can't put things in the right of way. That's the law. So,
It's a safety deal. So if a car goes off the road and hits your driveway approach,
Okay.
you know, if it's banked up, they go over it, okay, they hit a tree in that ditch, that's why we clean out the ditches for trees. That's why we have to do that, and that's why we got these blocks in here and stuff. The car goes in there and hits it, just like mailboxes. Mailboxes are supposed to be breakaway mailboxes too. Anything that's in the ditch or right away of the ditch, it's supposed to be breakaway.
Okay,
So somebody doesn't get killed or injured seriously.
okay. So then my next question is, would you consider a written enforcement or encroachment agreement of functional drainage like ours instead of a blanket removal case by case?
So,
Yeah, so there's two things the supervisors can, say, well, there's two things. They can say everything has to be removed. They could say, if you sign a waiver agreeing to hold harmless and indemnify, we will allow this to continue with reserving the right to later down the road, making you remove it for any or no reason. In terms of giving an easement or an encroachment, it wouldn't be that. It would probably just be allowing you to keep it there upon the condition that you sign such a waiver and agreement to hold harmless and indemnify.
Okay, so is that something that would be considered for those that received the notice?
Well, I think that has to be a case by case, like everybody would have to come and make that, and it wouldn't, they're not signing waivers for the entire, they'd have to look at the property and decide what's there and whether or not that's something they wanna do, so.
I think the question was, would that be something that you guys would consider?
For
Even
you,
entertaining that, any of us that receive it?
yeah, if you can take responsibility off of the township for someone getting hurt,
Okay,
I don't have a problem with that.
Is it something that can be paperwork through your insurance company as well?
sure.
That'd be nice for entertaining this. Obviously, it probably won't be the only one.
Mhm,
Fine. So
mhm.
that would be
Okay.
good things to see.
And then the September 1st date that was in the letter that we received, seemed pretty firm. Is that truly a firm number? Or is that, hey, let's continue to talk, but let's have a plan in place before September 1st?
I have no problem talking about it.
We just, we,
We can-
I think we just wanted you to respond by then.
Okay,
and it's in the minutes now, so that helps
okay,
for addressing that.
perfect. That's all I got.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Yeah, good evening. Joe Heights, 9400 East 41st Street. For anybody who's dealt with the gravel roads and paving, you definitely know my wife on the repeated calls as well. So nice job on grading the road before the meeting today. That helps, so thank you. Same question, is this regarding the right of way and the approach? We've been out there 22 years, had the same damn driveway for 20 of them.
Yeah.
And primarily we built it because we were sliding off the roads, going around the corner, going into there. So we needed to firm up the sides, but again, the same driveway's been there for 20 years. Talked to Don Hafner, who lives right next to us, got the same letter. He's kind of in the same situation, so I don't mean to speak for Don, but it's the exact same situation. So I think what Ryan obviously conveyed is that I think that it needs to be looked at on a case by case basis. And I think that if there's anything that we'd request is just a variance of, looking at it and saying, okay, has this been around for a legacy, and have we ever had an issue with it up to this point? This isn't an issue with us that we have landscaping at all in there. It's just that we built up the driveway to more or less create a more stable surface as we're coming into the driveway. So questions that you guys have on that, but again, our request is really just to kind of look at it on a one-off variance basis and make sure that we've had this growth graded for 20 years. We've had snow removal for the same amount of time. We've never had a single issue with it up to this point. So I think our landscaping is obviously far enough away from the road that it's never been an issue, but would be happy to answer any questions if you guys have them, so.
Like we have an annual meeting for the townships and stuff. So at every annual meeting or every meeting we have for the state, they always bring up the right of ways, the ditches, clean them out. Like you say, it just looks good, but still, if a car goes in the ditch, we're just looking for something to get the liability off of us, three guys up here. and the township.
Mhm.
So we're not to blame if someone hits that head on.
Okay.
So, I mean, like I say, if you got a policy that's gonna cover it, I'm willing to look at it.
Same thing, if we can see some stuff in writing through the insurance and so forth. And it'll educate us all about what insurance companies do for each one of us too.
So, and again, getting back to September first, there's a lot of information and there's a lot of one-offs. How many letters went out to the township? How many people received this letter at this point?
Probably 8. I'd have to go back and look at it, but it was specific areas in which they directed me to write letters. So I think there were about 8 letters.
Okay.
Could have been 10.
It's not all the same thing. I mean, some had trees down the middle of the right of way, and so some had trees there, some had no grass there because they're driving up and down the road all the time, wearing the grass out.
And again, not to speak for Don, but, you know, they have rocks around their culvert more or less to protect against erosion, and that's it. And I wouldn't see anything that you'd ever want to do different than that. That culvert is just as dangerous to a car than the rocks around protecting that right there.
Yeah.
So if the culvert can't be there, then you got a bigger issue. So you're gonna have to decide what is an impediment when it comes to a liability in that situation, because if you're gonna ask him to pull the culvert out, then you got a different issue.
No, the culvert's fine. I think the rocks were covered the end of it. Yeah, all the rocks, just remove the rock, the end of the culvert, so the water will flow. Was Don's problem.
Well, then isn't that protecting against erosion for not washing out the culvert?
It speeds up the water, right? Rocks.
Well, rocks will slow down the, yeah, I'm not familiar with the situation, but generally, if,
Same as riprap.
Yeah,
Culverts, we want the culverts open. We don't want them closed up.
if you can put riprap, you got a rock there, you should have it down below the outflow of the pipe. So they'll stay there. Or we could do like say, we're open for some suggestions too, but otherwise you could put ends on them,
Well,
flared ends.
the point I'm trying to make is that this is a very arbitrary policy that you guys are gonna try to enforce. You're either gonna have to get rid of absolutely everything, or you're gonna have to have variances, one way or the other. It has to be kind of black and white the way you're gonna have it, otherwise it's gonna be an arbitrary decision based on what you guys wanna do when you come out and look at this. And so you either have to get rid of 100% of everything, or you have to have some variances in there. And that's all I'm asking is have some variance, have some tolerability when you're looking at this.
And what we
So I
said-
just wanna make sure you understand, the township doesn't have, like, cities have ordinances for which you can apply for a variance. And then you have to prove undue hardships and all of those things. It's in a process by which there are hearings. That's not what this procedure is. That's a city ordinance and a variance under state law. Townships don't have, this township does not have any of those, nor do I know any township has any ordinance and a variance under the statutes. What this is simply a statute that provides the supervisors have the responsibility to make decisions related to roads. And the statute that says there shall not be obstructions in the right of way. So in terms of, they have the discretion, it's not a variance. They just have the discretion to decide whether or not on a particular property, they believe something should be removed. So I just wanna make sure you understand, we're not dealing with,
Okay,
A
then what is that, what's the rule of the discretion that's gonna be used then?
there is not a standard. It's
Yes.
not like under the ordinances
And
and the
that's the
variance.
problem that's at this point, is that there's not a standard, there's not, it
Well,
can
the
be very
standard-
arbitrary
this-
on who gets a pass and who doesn't,
Right,
right?
they're the ones who make the decision that this property should have removed and this one doesn't. And if you don't like the decisions of the board, then you vote them out and have somebody else do it, right? So it's within their discretion and there isn't anything under the law that says you have to consider 1, 2, and 3. So there's not that. This is not a city where you have those requirements. They just have the discretion.
Okay,
And that's all the statute gives them, is the discretion to make these
and is
decisions.
this gonna be a committee that looks at this, or
Well, it's the
or
supervisors have
is
to
it
make the
just these,
decisions.
the
It's these 3
supervisors
people.
alone? Okay.
These 3 people make those decisions. They are empowered to go out and make road trips and look at things and make those decisions.
Okay.
Based upon what they think is best for the township.
Okay.
So that's what happens in a township as opposed to a city with ordinances and variances.
Well, I appreciate any consideration. I think that it's pretty loose terms in terms of what goes into this, and any consideration you guys have in when making a decision would be appreciated. Thank you.
So I guess I'm gonna ask the supervisors, because right now you have letters that went out saying, please remove by September first. You've had a couple people say, well, one say, we would like to be considered potentially for, we will sign something that says a waiver, hold harmless and indemnify if there's ever a claim. And you've had a request to not, you had a request to just leave it in, as I understand, even without that indemnify and hold harmless. So I think for tonight, what would be helpful for direction would be for you to decide whether or not for all the letters that went out, if things aren't removed, that September 2nd, you're gonna go out and start removing things. Or if you plan to continue dialogue with these property owners, find out if they're willing to sign a hold harmless, find out whether or not you want them to or not. So I think those are the things that are helpful for direction for the property owners and the township and then going forward.
I would speak for myself or the rest want a copy, but again, if we can see waivers for held harmless and include paperwork from an insurance company. We're not gonna send a contractor out on September 1st, I don't believe,
No.
to mess with anybody. But again, it's just you look at things every day. What looks to be the potential most hazard. And we all try to avoid the possibility, because you hear about four-wheelers that have accidents, people get hurt. None of us want to carry that. That's where we're at. I don't want to carry anything where we can have a discussion and protect ourselves and yourselves. It's not just our protection, but yourselves. If that makes sense? Okay? No, I'm not gonna send out a contractor to tear it up on September 1st. Okay?
No, but we got it on record now, we got it,
Yeah.
we're discussing it, that's what we needed to get done. So even when us three are gone, somebody else comes in and they can look back and see what was discussed.
We need a motion, Lisa.
Well, I don't know what your motion would be. I mean, cause you didn't make a motion last month. Right? Do you have motions? The minutes from last month? Do you have that up there?
Minutes from last time?
Yeah, did it say that everything had to be removed?
Oh.
So maybe a motion to
Extend.
extend the clearance of the right of way to the property owners. Letters were sent to extend that through whatever date you want to be.
Can I make a request? Can we have it until the spring? Because I mean, some contractors, it might be tough to, if you really are gonna enforce it, if we can't get those indemnification letters, approved through insurance, and we don't want to assume it, and we're gonna redo it. We're gonna need time to make sure we're getting bids and, have time to do it before winter hits. And is there really a big sense of urgency, especially since some properties have been like this for decades? And so we don't wanna string it on for too long, but just enough time for us to kind of prep and kind of plan for this, because it's not a simple task.
Do you think there'd be possibility of having contact with insurance and that in the next?
Oh, 100%.
Right.
I'm gonna move fast on
That-
this, but I also don't wanna have some deadline that is gonna be tough for us to meet,
right.
and then we're,
Let's start with the fact that we could get some paperwork in the next 10, 20 days or something. If that's ample time.
So a
That'd be-
motion made to extend the removal date from September 1st to what? It can be considered that next month until later
reconsider.
extended, or what do you want?
I think you guys should be able to find something out by next, month from now.
Reconsider it at the next meeting.
Okay,
I do
so,
have one question on their behalf. If you guys do allow them to keep it this year, is it gonna be an issue 5 years down the road? I mean, the way you're saying the law is super vague, and you guys changed in 3 years. Somebody else decides, no, that their driveway's an issue.
Well,
so
that-
for example, Spook Road, all the trees were supposed to be cut down, and then we had elections and had different supervisors, and they hadn't gotten cut down yet, and the motion was to leave the trees up. So,
So I mean, it's
that,
up in
it can
your-
change by the supervisors, yep.
But other townships, by the township of South Dakota, it's still, your right of way is supposed to be clear of debris or anything that's gonna, that you can hit and somebody get hurt driving the car.
And I'm Corey Ernie, 7710 East Maple Street. What is the right of way? I mean, what is the distance?
It's
'Cause I mean-
whatever is platted, so typically a right of way is 66, but sometimes things are platted, maybe 60 or something, so a right of way is platted with with the county.
Okay,
So typically, it's 33 feet on each side. And that's if the road is actually put in correctly. 'Cause
in our case, us driving over and taking the grass out, that's the problem.
You're on Maple on the end?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, those kids are coming out and jumping the driveway approaches, which I was young once too.
But that's our driveway. I mean,
Yeah,
I wanna-
yeah, going on the driveway, but when people see that, they hope that the wheels come down straight and they don't jerk off. 'Cause I used to be roller coaster hills,
Oh, yeah.
you know, I grew up on that. And you always had to make sure the wheels are straight when you land, because
But I mean, at what point is it okay for my kids to jump the driveway? At what distance from the road?
on your property,
Yes,
off the right away of the road,
yes.
so you can do anything you want on your property.
You should have pin at your lot line. If you're within your lot line and your pin, you should be good to go.
I just have to stay 33 feet basically off center of the road.
Assuming it's platted.
Yeah.
Assuming. And Corey, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your last name. Our
Herding,
clerk is gone and I don't know what you got.
HERDIE. So really, in our case, us getting the grass from the right of way is the problem.
And can you give me your address again? 'Cause-
7710 East Maple Street.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Maple is 66 foot right of way, Maple has. So it'll be about 32 feet from the middle of the road, you know, so that's what Maple is. Maple
So
is a little flatter.
I kind of have a motion, if you're wanting to consider to extend the removal date from September 1st to instead be considered at the next meeting. And date to be considered at the next meeting.
Okay, do I have a second?
Well, I'm not making the motion, so if that's your motion.
I'll make the motion.
Okay. Rick? Any motion? Second?
I'll second it.
Second. Any more discussion?
One oddball question for you. That Maple's horrible for the ripples in the gravel. Is there an issue if I go out and fix it with a leveler,
And how are you gonna do that?
skid loader?
It won't stay.
You're
I'm
talking about, you wanna go out and
Do
fix
road
the right of
maintenance.
way or do your own road maintenance on?
Road maintenance on Maple,
Um,
because right on that corner of Maple is just horrendous. And I've got a landowner that peels the ripples a little and levels it out. It only lasts for 4 or 5 days.
Legally,
It's wonderful 4 or 5 days.
Legally, you can't do that.
Legally, I can't do it.
We got a grater bit system on our blades, both of them, which cut it out, just like you're saying, the Rippler,
Yeah,
we do the same thing.
but it only lasts 4 days, and you guys don't do it every 4 days. Or,
No, and the biggest thing is it's so dry this year, the dust control didn't hold on,
you know,
you know, it just blew away, a lot of it did. So it's a tough year for it. We're going out there, on the near stretch of road, we put 6 loads of water on it. Before we got it so we could really grade it up good. Did it good, car speed up, you get to the intersection there, they're going up the hill by your house, you step on it, then you get that chatter.
Yep.
And once you get the chatter, it's hard to stop it until you cut it and lay it again.
and I understand why it's happening. I mean, I get it.
We gotta move back on to our subject.
Yeah.
We have a motion and a second.
Yep.
Extend the date, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Any more? Thing on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Alright, motion carried. Move on to, we have to. Yeah, anything on the trees, Rich, wanna do that?
I'll get down and we do the trim of the trees. and all.
We'll move on to new business. Item one is court site. We brought that up every month, the traffic control. Virgil?
Traffic count is about the same speed as, the average speed has dropped just a little bit on Quartzsite. So really not a huge change since June or July, through August. Even though they're not on there, 41st Street's had 150 cars a week increase. But speed is still okay. Most of it's contractors, I think, going through. And then River Bluff now is 270 cars a week. Speed is, I think, 20, 25. There's some speeders obviously on all of them, but so that's not anything eye-opening, I wouldn't think so. And I've got all these reports. If anybody ever wants to look at them, just have to let us know.
Okay. Anything more on the court side? I think the project's getting closer to being done. Okay, we'll move on to Stokes. I think that's,
Lisa, you heard anything about that?
Nope.
okay. Nothing on Stokes. East Maple, item 3.
Yep, I sent an email to the attorney on that one and said, if we don't hear something from you by the end of the month, then we're just gonna take it off.
Okay,
Because that's the one where they were going to the city first to try and get the consent of the city to vacate, and then they were gonna come to us, and that's been sitting out there since April.
okay, move on to item 4. Tree trimming and developments. I think Todd got some pictures.
Rich had 6 or 8 addresses with trees hanging over the right of ways and so
We just,
forth.
it's just like the streets in Sioux Falls. You run down, the trees overgrow over the road. You're ripping lights off maintainers when you plow snow in the wintertime. We need to get some of them trees trimmed up. If we hire someone to do it, it might not look the same as if developers do it. We're gonna hire someone to come and do it if they don't, so, and they'll get charged back for it, so. But it's just a note we had to bring up. Our operators are, like I say, rubbing against the doors and the windows and the mirrors, so they're looking at winter coming up, so,
We'll be doing that this year.
yeah. Somebody have to.
Okay,
Is that a major problem through a lot of developments, or is it
You
a
could-
handful?
A handful in each one,
Okay,
yeah, it's not major, but,
are those landowners aware?
well, they will be,
Are you gonna send a notice?
yeah.
Okay,
We're not just gonna go in and cut, so we'll
Right.
send them a notice
right,
to the address, and just like the city does, so they got time to do something with it.
right.
okay. Elected officers update.
Oh,
Anything, Todd?
everything grows with your grass. The trees keep growing. That's about it.
Any updates, Rich?
Yeah, I had a call from Jacob, which is in charge of the county on Maple, and, he said, we gotta do something with Maple. I says, yeah, we've been trying to tell you that for a long time.
Give it to the county.
Yeah, see what, but anyway, we told him the car count and all this, and he goes, well, maybe we should look at it and maybe do a rural blacktop through there and for a 30-mile-an-hour road. Well, first off, it ain't never gonna be a 30-mile-an-hour road.
60-mile-an-hour road now.
Yeah, I know, but he was gonna talk to you guys. You guys have got some plans on that for down the road? DGR,
He stopped by on Friday, but he didn't mention that. I can give him a call.
yeah. That's what he told me, he was gonna talk to you guys and see if there's some way we could work together with them to try to get that, at least a layer blacktop or something on it. It would take a lot of work off the township tremendously. Cause that, like you say, you can go there every 4 days and blade it over and blade it and blade it and blade it.
The township actually did back 10+ years ago petition to have the county accept the road, but officially, formally, and the county declined. And that's when the road was only gonna be 2 million,
Yeah, a million and a half.
yeah, back then. No, it's not.
No, that's all I got, just letting pass it on.
Kevin, you have anything?
You talking about the whole length
Just
of
hold
it?
it. Kevin, you have anything?
Mhm.
Okay, now we'll move on to public comment.
Oh, I was just asking if you were talking about blacktopping the entire length of it?
That's what he was talking about.
Okay.
Yeah,
Anybody else got any concerns?
I got a quick question. Of the 8 letters that were sent out, are they all within that geography that's on the screen right now, or what were the 8
No,
locations?
no. There were different ones. There was some on 41st Street, but there's one in Maple there. There's different ones in them.
and Mystic, we sent one in Mystic too.
Mystic, yeah. So
And
there
the
were different
approachment of the
areas.
right of way.
Okay.
They did a nice job planting trees on it, but just right down the middle of the right of way. Shoulder.
RJ?
Okay, a couple of things. If it rains the end of the week, can you come and grade where we don't have dust control on 267 and 42? But don't come unless it rains, but it's gonna rain one of these days.
Archie.
So, I'm just curious, back to those trees and let's talk about things in the ditch, and I just do this to stimulate a little thought. So, if a person runs into a mature tree that's in the right of way, does the township carry insurance? If there's a lawsuit, say a person driving a car runs into a tree, breaks their neck, there's a lawsuit, so then does the township carry insurance on that? And if so, how much, or how would that read, being as how you're into this conversation with that?
The township carries insurance, it doesn't mean that insurance company will necessarily pay. They look at whether it should be paid. There's also a lot of governmental immunity that's out there, so that might apply so that nothing's paid. There's a lot, and we don't have the information. You'd have to do a free information request to get the information on how much insurance, because they have insurance, as does every city and county.
So we have insurance on every state meeting. We get briefed on insurance and different things that happens and stuff in there for, and especially trees. Trees. We're fortunate to be a township that can afford to do some tree removal, but the smaller townships really struggle. And so a lot of between that and abandoned roads.
So I think, I hear you. Thanks,
Yeah.
Lisa.
Anything else, RJ?
No.
Anybody else?
I'll just throw out the what if then, going back to Spook Road, if all those trees are in way, isn't the county or isn't the township just as liable right now in that situation? And shouldn't they be subjected to removing all them based on the same criteria that you're using to establish the right of way legal issue?
Spook Road is blocked off there, that's the section that's got most of the trees hanging over. That's blocked off right now,
So it's closed right now.
yeah.
Okay.
It's been closed since we had that flood.
Yeah, we've removed some things. Yeah, we've taken care of that project over there.
And every year, well, this year's the only year we haven't, last year we did.
Yeah,
Well, and
we've
here's
been
just-
working on it.
Here's another observation. The state and the county struggles with this too. If you go down the county roads and the state highway, they've got trees that are in the right of way that are huge. So this is a little.
It is
Just
nothing
so-
new,
No,
yeah.
we're trying to stay ahead of it.
Right.
Anything else? Okay, motion to pay bills. We have bills of $6,361.28. Barn new tires for water truck, $4,852.95. Midwest Oil for fuel, $1,311.97. Running supply, $96.36. South Dakota Association of Towns and Township, $100. So total of $6,361.28. Do I have a motion to pay bills?
I'd motion to pay bills as presented.
Do I have a second?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Alright, motion carried. We don't need executive session. Motion to adjourn.
That's a move.
Second.
Do you have Wendy Dean's
All in favor?
I don't
Next
agree,
meeting,
I'll have her phone
September
number,
8th.
I'll give her a call and.
7:30 here at the fire station.
She wanted it, but